All right, the last lesson in the stats unit is still we're going to be dealing with z-scores, but this time we're going to be finding values. All right, so yeah, so in the last video we were finding percentages. All right, so this time what we want to do is we actually want to find values, which is kind of like doing a what we call a reverse lookup. All right, so anyways, it's best illustrated through an example. All right, so I'm going to just do this example here. So the manufacturer of a cell phone has determined that the phone requires servicing after a mean of 40 months, so an average of 40 months, with a standard deviation of 4.5 months. And we want to determine what length of warranty should be offered if the manufacturer wants to repair less than 2% of the phones under their warranty. Okay, so this is kind of a logical or common question that some manufacturers will ask. Right, so how should they set their warranty so that they only want to repair less than 2% of their phones? All right, so if we were to draw a bell curve here. All right, so basically what it's saying is that we have a cell phone, and after 40 months, so the mean is 40, on average, it requires servicing. Standard deviation is 4.5. And basically, we want to figure out what this warranty should be such that the percentage here is 2%. Okay, so we're kind of doing things backwards. Last lesson, or last video, we were trying to find the percentages, all right, for this marker. So this time we're trying to find x given the percentage. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, so what we want to do here is our first step is to go through our Z tables and try to find 2% in it. All right, so I'm just going to pull up the Z table. So here's that Z table. All right, so remember these are the Z values down the side here, and within the grid here, these are the percentages. All right, so what I want to do is I want to find 2%, and the thing with the percentage you'll notice is that they get bigger and bigger as you go down, and the Z scores get smaller and smaller. All right, so for instance here, this is like 1.07%. All right, so it's written as a decimal. So I'm just going to keep scrolling down until I find. All right, so here's 2.28. Here's 0.17. All right, so I'm just going to go along here. So notice that these percentages get smaller, and at some point here, it goes from 2% to 1.97%. Okay, so yeah, so either one of these is actually fine, but the one I'm going to choose here is this percentage right here. Okay, so this represents this Z value here of negative 2.05. Okay, so you saw I read that. I went down this column, negative 2.0, and then 5. That Z value has a percentage of 2.02%. All right, so that's kind of like close enough. All right, so I'll highlight that. Highlight that. Okay, so the Z value that corresponds to 2% is negative 2.05. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just write that the Z value equals negative 2.05. Okay, so this Z value corresponds to 2%. All right, so if you recall, there was a formula that we used to convert or to find a Z value, and the formula was Z equals x minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. All right, so so in this case, since we have a percentage of 2%, we know that Z is negative 2.05. So I'm going to use that, plug that into the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I'm solving for x. And from here, I want to subtract the mean, which was 40, and divide by the standard deviation, which in this case was 4.5. Okay, so we know the standard deviation is 4.5. All right, so yeah, so this is the equation that we want to solve, and we want to solve for x. Okay, so this negative 2.05, this again is the Z value. It is not the percentage. All right. It's just kind of a coincidence, right? 2%, negative 2.05. These are two separate things, all right? So the 2% here represents percentage, obviously, and we looked it up, and we found that the corresponding Z value is negative 2.05. All right, so we want to solve this equation. We want to solve for x. So, yeah, the very first day, I think we did some equations, and yeah, we were solving for x, so we'll do the same thing here. So I want to isolate x. I'm going to multiply both sides by 4.5. So then on the right-hand side, the 4.5s cancel, and we get x minus 40 is equal to, and let's just pull up the calculator here. Go down here. All right, so I'm going to punch in 4.5 times negative 2.05, so 2.05 negative, and that's equal to negative 9.225. So negative 9.225. All right, and then what I want to do here is solve for x. So I'm going to move the 40 over to this side, so I'm going to plus 40. And as a result, if I add 40 to this value here, we get 30.775. So x is equal to 30.775. All right, so this is the number of months. So this is the x value under this situation. So this number here, the x value here would be 30.775 in order to get 2%. All right, so yeah, so basically manufacturer, the warranty should be, if we round it, we're always going to, if you're a manufacturer, okay, so imagine you're a manufacturer, you're going to round it down or you're going to round it up. All right, so if I round it up, all right, so if I go larger, then I'm actually going to have a percentage of more than 2%. It's going to be slight, but it's still going to be more. So in this case, yeah, naturally you would round this up. However, since it's better to repair as a manufacturer less than 2% as opposed to more than 2%, we're going to round this one down. All right, so the warranty should be 30 months. All right, and we're done. All right, so actually, you know what? So maybe I'll explain that a little bit further. So let's say we have this bell curve, right? And we know right at 30.775, this percentage in here is 2%. Well, if I take this and move the bar over and say I want the warranty at 31, well, then I'm just adding in more percentage. So this would therefore be more than 2%. All right, so I don't know about you, but if I ran a company and did a warranty, I'd probably want to repair less than 2% than more than 2%. So that's why I rounded this down. All right, so rounded it down to 30 months. So they're actually going to end up repairing less than 2% mathematically. All right, so yeah, so again, if you read the question here, it says what warranty should be offered if the manufacturer wants to repair less than 2%. All right, so if I was to round it up to 31 months, then I'm going to be repairing slightly more than 2%. All right, but we want to repair less than 2%. Cool. All right, so that's that. It was a fairly quick one. Hopefully that made sense. All right, cheers.